apply pagination to your web page is basically simple. What we are going to do, we are going to say from our what, we are going to make use of that of the pagination class. We are going to say our Django. This is our Django the what core the what, so that should be dot paginator. What do you want to import? We want to import that paginator. Also want to import out of the empty page. We're going to make use of that of the empty page. We're going to make use of page not and zero. So we're going to make this to make use of this guy for the error handling, and then we're going to make use of this thing for the pagination. But before we apply that pagination, we're going to look at some of the commands that this pagination actually handle, how this pagination actually works. So when we start applying it, so we won't get confused on what we're actually doing. So let's actually let me just copy this. Let me go to this of the test.py and import it here. Remember that this test.py, this is not actually where you're actually testing your script, but I also want us to make use of this environment to actually see this paginator class in action. So the first test we want to do, let's say we have created a variable that has post, then we're going to say list to create a list of range of number from that of 1 to 0 to 20. So we can say list range 20, so we can print our post. Let's actually run this to see the output. Okay, I think I have to create a new file. Yeah, I'm going to move over this file and let it run. I don't know why this actually showed on top. That's not what I want to show. So I think this was actually interrupting it. So let me just get it down. Let me actually run this test.py. Close this. You can see I get video number from 1 to 0 to that of 19, because I know that range doesn't actually get printed at the last element. So since we've actually gotten, so we want to paginate this range of number from 0 to 20. Remember that the core advantage of pagination is that you are going to, maybe in a particular page, you want to actually get out of only 10 content first as output. Maybe first content to be on one particular page number, maybe 10, next one maybe 20, next one 30. So it depends on your choice. Maybe you want to be 10, 10, 10, maybe 5, 5 of your choice. So first set actually get the list of element content from that of 0 to 20. The way pagination actually works, let's actually give an example. I set p to that of the paginator. So that's going to be paginator. I will set the first element, it is that of the variable that holds that of the content name must start in a variable, and then how many content do you want per page. Let's assume I want 2 content per page, meaning that in a particular page we're going to have only 2 content. So in page 1 we're going to have only 0 and 1. In page 2 we're going to have 2 and 3. Page 3 we're going to have 4 and 5. Page 5 we're going to have 6 and 7. So that's just basically it. So in a situation whereby, I want to do other parameters, like in a situation whereby in a particular page, you want to know which page number you're on, whether that page, or whether if it has next pages, whether if it has previous pages, and how can you do all these guys. So the first thing, you have to create a variable name was, but it's just a good idea to be able to make your work a little bit neater. It's going to be our pages. We're going to say this of our p that has this of the paginator class on it. So we're going to say p. We're going to say p dot what page, simple as that. And we're going to, let's say we assume one page 1. Let's assume we can see num. I'm going to set it to so maybe one page 3, for example, and then I put that of the num here. This is the fact that we're actually going to get that of particular page number that we're going to get, and we're going to store inside of this. We're going to make use of this page p that have this paginator class on it, and then we're going to do the page that of the num. So let's actually get the particular page that we're currently on. So we can say we can start to print our pages to actually see what we have. Let's actually do that. Okay, you can see that we have that of the page 3 out of 10 as expected. So let's actually want to get that with this inverter, this one, that of the page 3 out of 10. I can say that we have 10 pages because we divided each of it by two. Remember, it's 2 pages per, so it's 2 content per page. So we want to get that particular number instead of it if you get it in this way. So we can say that was number. Simple as that. Let's actually run that. We're expecting to get that of 3. And see we got 3. Maybe 6 divided by y in page 3. So there's a situation where I want to actually know where the particular position that we are. Does that particular position, or does the page actually have, I can say, have other pages? In a situation where I want to know whether if it has other pages, you can see the this of the pages has underscore what other pages. This is going to actually return true or false in a situation where if it has other pages. And say it return true, meaning that it's another page. But let's set this to 1 to see whether that is actually true. And say we see got true. This signifies that this particular page has other this particular paginator of the particular content of paginated tend to have other pages. This is really, really useful. This does most of the time have to be on top of your condition before you can start performing other things. So let's actually in the particular page we are, let's say as we want page 3, for example, we're going to check, does it actually have previous page, like previous page, does it actually have next page? How to do this? We can say has underscore previous. Let's actually run it. It's going to return true or false. We go through that previous page. But let's say as move one, that of the page 1, does it actually have previous page? So you can see, does it have previous? You can see we got false. What if we set this to something like 3 and then run it? We're going to get true because since we're on page 3 should have other previous pages. That's actually tend to make sense. So we're expecting to get true. So what we want to check, does it have actually next? Thanks to my VS Code to actually help me with completion of some of all these functions that we're going to use, because I can't remember most of them. You can see it has next, which is true. But if we go to 10, let's say we're on page 10, and then we try to run this, definitely going to give us 4. So we are going to try to get out of the previous page number. That's what we got 10. Let's say we want to get the previous page number. Let's say set it back to 3. When we type that of previous page number, it's going to get the number directly rather than getting that of the true or false. And also another one, since we're actually okay, let's actually do. I can see previous page number. Let's actually run that. Now our previous page number is going to be that of 2, and the next page number is going to be that of 4. You can see we got 2. So we're going to say next page number. Remember, the whole lot of them are just going to look at few of them. You can see 4. So remember that when you say that of the number, if you want to get that particular number, this is actually going to return a number, so you don't need to put those braces on it. When you click on the pages, the number is going to return the current number that you are currently on. Now, station, this was 3. You can see we got 3 as an output, like how we saw. Okay, similar to what I've actually been doing, that we're working on a particular page, and then we got to that particular page, and then we'll try to check whether it has other pages that are sent to you. Let's say we want to actually look through over all the paginated pages. So we can actually do this. To do this, we can say for x in what this are p the word pages page range. We are going to print out of the x. It's going to run. It's going to print out from that of the first page, which is going to be 1, to that of the last page, which is going to be 3. So after this, we are going to implement this in our, can see that of 1 to 10. This, in fact, this is all the pages that is. Let's say I reduce this something like 5, and then I run this again. You can see I already got 1 to 3. And that one was that when I set it to 5, 1 to 3. Page. Okay, so because the latter paginated to that of each page has 2. So page 1 has that of the two content, page 2 has two content, which is 2, 4, and then page 3 has just a single content on it. Hope that is not hard to actually understand. So we are going to let's get rid of all these things from our test.py, and we are going to implement this in our. We are going to definitely go to that of the room.html and this of our view.py. So the first step we are going to, before we continue, this of our, where is that? This of our search button is not really doing anything. So we need to actually give it a name so we can actually grab the information that is rendered on that of the search button. So to do this, we're going to go to our home.html. Where is that our search? You can decide to give it. I'm giving it a name which is that of the input set. We are going to make use of this input set to get the information that has been sent over to our server. So that for this of our we can say entry, which is search entry, here is actually working. So we need to actually get our server up and running. So we can say, so that's pattern manage.py. Let me just actually get rid of this. Manage.py, which is manage.py. So actually run this manage.py over here. So let's actually run this server. Pattern manage.py. One server, simple as that. Let's actually hold on, because right now if we go to any particular page, it's not going to be rendered. So let's actually wait for it to load completely. Okay, I think that is up and running. So we're going to enter text here, and then we'll try to grab it from and then display it on our views.d. So the first step we want to actually do, so we can call this, if we made a post request, so we can say if method, so if I can say request, if request your method, if it is equals to what, is going to be, if it equals to post request. So what we are going to do, we can create a variable is going to be our searched underscore form. What we are going to do, we are going to say request dot what post, that was post method we did the what get. What do we want to actually get? We want to target this of the, what is it called, this input field, and then we give it what this what is it called, input says. We are going to take it and we are going to set inside. So let's actually print our search form to see what we actually enter. It's going to be searched form. So let's actually enter something in this of our search form. Let's just copy this, put it in our search form, and then make a push request. So everything seems to be working, and then we can see first title on admin, and that is basically what enter. Let me enter more. We put it, make a post request. You can see easy key, blah blah blah, got printer. So I'll search from now. You can see how simple is it to actually grab information from an input, and then you can make use of it. And this really is finished. This show you're not interested in making use of this forms, which can be really stressful. You can maybe have your teammate to write the front end. What you have to do is to make use of the name of the classes and a whole lot of them to actually grab the information and then try to work on it. It's not a must make use of Django form. And also the next thing I want us to do is that do we want our blog information to be structured, is the latest had to be on top, because what we're actually doing here, the oldest was on top, or there's a good idea if the latest was actually on top. So we can create a variable called blogs. We can make use of that of the post model or what object, and say object that want to filter our content. So how do we want to filter it? We're going to actually see content, whether the content underscore what contain. What we are trying to do now, this filter is going to filter, and then I'm going to say if the content contain that of the what this search form will actually have here. So then we are going to do what order by. So we want to do that of the date underscore what post test. I'm going to explain this. So what do you actually do here? And this of the our when we query our database is going to be filtered. So it's going to be filtered. Then when we enter a search, let's say I want to get maybe something like I'm interested in this is the content which I want to get a content that has this of the admin panel on it. So and it's going to when we search when we put it maybe we should put on like admin panel here and then we hit on this search. I know I'm going to get file error here. So when we hit on this search, what is actually happening here is that it's going to filter, it's going to go to our database and filter each all the content that is here to or going to search for all the content that has that of the admin panel on it, and then it's going to filter about the input from this of the search form, and then it's going to be ordered by what by negative update posted, meaning that the latest content is going to be displayed first. So if you don't put this, the oldest content is going to be displayed first. I want that of latest content to be displayed first. So the hope this is not hard to understand. So the next we want to actually do is actually to able to get the particular page that we're and the particular page number that we're currently on our you can say that of the pagination, because we'll go here and know that this is actually page one. I think that's not hard to explain. This page one. Let me make use of this website to you can say this page to explain that since we're on page one, to actually know the particular page, or can say that of the page, we are going to set it our request the what get the what get, and then want to set the want to set it to what page. No more you must set this to page. What actually happening? We're going to go to our web page that we're currently on. I'll try to get a particular maybe a particular page that we're currently on. I want to query our URL. Which one I mean URL? I mean this URL. You can see that when we click on let's click on page 2 for example. Let's look at this. You can see that this is our URL, and then we're trying to we assign our page to have something like this page. The other one will set page here and start to give it any name of your choice. So Django is going to go to our URL and look for this test page. And what is this test page assigned to? Let's assume it was assigned to 3. Let's say assume it was assigned to 3, as we can see here. You can see it was assigned to 2. So Django is going to look for this page that we have here, this page text, and then it's going to look for what is this page assigned. Now situation was assigned to 2. So Django is going to only get that 2. Look at that. I see this page is not going to be this page is going to be set to 2. Like how we actually saw this of our that of the test is that test.py. I'll try to go back at it. Yeah, this should like this is going to be set as if we're setting this num to be 3. Hopefully that I know how to actually understand, but let's actually leave it so it will be done automatically. So now we're actually getting our num that we're interested in. So the next thing we want to actually is to paginate our page. So we can say a paginator and try to name it paginate. Remember this is a small letter, not a big capital letter. It's going to be paginate. Paginator. We want to paginate our can say our content that's on our page, like how we saw here. We're making all this of paginator. First argument is that of the content, which is this post, and second, how many content do we want to be displayed on our web page. So remember the first guy is going to be this of blog. We're going to say this of the blog, and how many content do we want in our page. Let's say I want 5 minutes. Station here we set it to be 2, but I want it to be 5 in my scenario. So with that being done, we're going to sometimes error might try to call. We can make use of try and step to handle some error. So we're going to say try. We're going to set our pages. We're going to set it to what equals to. We're going to set our paginator the what page. Presented our page, we are going to read from that of the page. Remember that all these things were actually did. This signified that we will just go to the variable pages. This is our paginator or this paginator variable. Remember this guy is the capital letter P. So dot page, like how we did here, dot page. And we set it to that. So this is going as if we're trying to work with the current page we have. Then with this, when we're working with the current page we have, we can check whether that page has next as previous. Because when we go to this page that we have, I go to page 1. It doesn't have previous, so previous doesn't show. So then we have we can actually write out of the you can go to page 2, it has previous one. I click on previous, which is actually that of page. Well, I look at the URL pattern, where is URL pattern where is being changed. So I'm going to make use of this ideology, like how we actually did it. So I'm going to say the page. So we're going to not do anything. So we're going to try to accept. Can start to print out anything. So we're going to accept that of the page. Page first is we want to accept page not integer. So we're going to accept pages. I'm going to set it to what out of the paginator. Then I'm going to explain. I'm going to set the paginator dot what page. I'm going to set it to what 1. So let's say in a situation whereby remember that this well, just what we're trying to try because we're still going to move this of the pages to our let's say our content that actually makes sense. So we're going to move that pages. So what first we are going to do is actually this paginator dot page, and this page is going to our page is going to have the number on it. So let's say in a situation whereby is not number. Let's say some random guy came here to come and put something like maybe easy keys here, which is going to have when we put easy keys here, which is not an integer, what is going to have? We're going to direct you back to page 1. I think that's how most websites actually do some of all these tricks. So I also want to handle another problem that might occur, which is actually accept. I think accept what that of the empty page. So in case there was no actual page that actually existed, so we're going to override this of the pages. So I'm going to say that of the paginator. It's a paginator the what page. What do you want to move it about? We're going to say our paginator the what num pages. So remember that this num page, you get the total number of pages. That one would go to this of our test. I think that we actually did that, which is num pages, is going to get total number of pages that actually existed. So what I'm going to do is to override this of the content that is going to be inherited for that of the pages. Let's just see example what actually happens here. Let's say we made a post request. So I want to enter maybe something like that, admin panel, hit and search. Just see what happens. Why am I getting this? Let's actually run this again. Can resolve content keyword content choices are author, the content, date, posted ID, title. Okay. Content contains. I think that should be contains. I think that should be contains. Searched. Remember that what trying to target on that of the content, which when I make content, when we go to our model.py, which is this content guide that we have here. Especially if it's not content, make sure to change it. And then since we can actually run query on that of it, which you have that of the post or content. So what we are trying to do is to check if what the you search for that is inside out of the content. That's what we say content that contains. We are targeting this post or content. This content, does it contain what you searched for? Hope it's not hard to understand. Let's actually run this again. Submission again. Keyword contains into features author. How do I keep forgetting this video? Okay. I think this should be double underscore. Double underscore. Let's actually run that again. Okay. My server is misbehaving right now. Okay, it's running successfully now. Let's actually run it again. You can see we're not getting that error. You can see that our content has now been being searched by only that of the admin panel that we entered. That panel content was actually the one that mentioned. So okay, let me just go back to our local pages reference before assignments. Okay. So local reference before assignment. Wonder why I'm getting this error. And where did this actually happen? All that of the context should have been like that one. I don't think the reason for this is this I'm having this error in a case if I don't make a post request and then these pages don't actually exist. You can see this tend to lead us to another problem why I'm getting the local variable local variable page reference before assignment. So for this to work, I have to actually make a post request. You can see that this is actually funny. So this is that I must have an except block. So which we are going to, in case if you didn't make a post request, because the function here that the condition here was if you made a post request. But what if you didn't make a post request? That's not this. None of this is going to actually work. I remember that the parameter you're actually passing, and say the variable you're actually passing to that of your home.html is that of the pages. And if you don't make a post request, these pages guys are never going to exist. So we're going to do this. So condition, there's some situation whereby maybe you search for something, for example, you search for a particular content and none of them actually ever existed. And the amount of the content you're going to get from this blog is going to be that of the zero. So I'm going to add that condition. It's going to be inside of the post, this post request. Remember, you actually made a post request. So if that of the blogs, which is this output of this on this blogs, if you count, if you do the account, if you count the output, if it's equals to 0, if it's equals to 0, so I don't see the reason for it to performing any other operations on this. So what we are going to do, we are going to just copy this, place it here, tab it over to this. Okay, hope that actually makes sense. So if the amount of content that actually displayed on this of our blog variable is set to 0, so we're going to set our pages, sorry, our post to that of the page, and we're going to return that out of the home.html. But in the situation whereby you do actually make a post request, what we're going to do, we're going to do a similar thing with this. We're going to come here, copy everything. Since you didn't make a post request, I'm going to push it here. So we're not going to do search content or search blah blah blah. So what I'm going to do is object and post the object or yeah. So we're going to try to get every content. So then we're going to order it by date posted, because that actually makes sense. That actually makes sense. Like I said, I want the latest to be on top. So everything is going to remain the same with this, because in this scenario we're not trying to filter by anything. We're just going to query our database and then we're going to sort it or order it by that or the date posted. When we signify minus, the last is going to be the first. Like I said, the current one is going to be make the first one. And also an organization whereby maybe somebody has actually select the particular and see the particular paginator a particular page he or she wants. So I want to actually, in a situation where that doesn't exist, I want to set it to that of the default one. That is page one. In case the user doesn't select a particular page, it will be defaulted to that of the page one. Hope that is not actually hard to understand. Let's go back one more time to understand what we actually did here. If we make a post request, which is this search form is going to trigger that of the post request, like, because you know that when we click on this search, it's actually a post request that we made, because the main function of this of the first part was for in case you made a post request, in case you search for content here. So you're going to get out of the content imputed and you're going to filter it or query it on our database, and it's going to sort it by that of the date. So after that, you set this page can say page parameter, can say page tester. It's where you can set this any test of your choice. Just that it's going to appear in our see on our URL, and there's going to be assigned a particular value. So that value we are trying to get it. This is how Django and make it tend to operate on, and that is actually one of the best way to handle this. So we are trying to get the value that this page was actually assigned to. Let's say I assign this to something like Ezee keys. So Django is expecting me when I go to this URL tree, we are expecting Ezee keys. So this is what I want to try to show example. That's why I said that. So in my case, I set it to page, which I'm still going to make use of. So, and then I've talked about some paginator commands. So which is this? We splitted our blog, which is the what the input the user searched for, and then splitted each of the signify that each page is going to have 5 content on it maximum. So we have this on the pages also going to be, we did this on a lot of try and accept. So we tried the normal pages. So we take the paginator page, this page is going to be a number. So if it's not a number, we're going to default to that of page one. Let's say it's like I explained here. If somebody enter this of the Ezee key, can see it was defaulted to back to that of the page one. See how that simple one. So if it was an empty page, it's going to rendered out of the page number for you to select particular page number you actually want. So let's actually do that. If it's an empty number, so you can see you still query to enter the particular number you actually want. So that is actually handled by this of the try and accept. So in a situation whereby when you search for content and there's no content actually match what you searched, what are we going to do? We're just going to return back the blog page and the home.html for you just like that without any other let's say without any other filtering or any other thing. The current page you are still going to return it back to, because these pages is now going to be just this page, the current page. And also the next thing in the case whereby you didn't make a post request, because this is actually the first one when you make a post. The second one, if you don't make a post, because I'm going to filter query our database. All the data that is there, we're going to sort it by that of the date posted. Date posted is going to be sorted by that of the current is going to be that of the first, and then we're trying to get the current page that we are, the current page number. In case if you don't have any particular page number like this, you can see here, it's going to be defaulted to 1 automatically. So, and the paginator will paginate the blog, each of the content, each of the page to have only 5 content on it. We'll actually handle that on the we'll try and accept, and then what is this guy doing here? Get out. I'm not doing anything here. So I think that actually handles it, and then we returned our so then you see if it's not zero, then we return our this. So if this guy was run, our page is not going to be the page that appeared here. If this guy running to pages that appeared here. So I think that actually handles it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do is wait over to our home.html to complete the structure, because and everything is going to do is to make use of all these Django command and as I said paginator class that we actually have inside this of our HTML. So the first thing we want to make can say a condition to check if actually the page, can say the post that we have actually have that of the other pages. So I can say post dot what has, can say other, let's go pages. So if that actually have other pages, so we can actually perform some other things. So the first we want to check if the page actually have previous page. We saw some of all these things when we were talking about some commands or this or the paginator. So let's go back to our home.html. So if he has other pages, so we want to check whether if he has previous page. You can see previous. So that was yes. If it has previous, so what we want to do, we're going to make an anchor, and with that anchor is going to put a question mark. Going to put a question. Once I find I want to actually set our own parameter, and we're going to give it a particular number. So we're going to set that of the page like Django is expecting from us. We're going to set it to equals to. We're going to set it to that of the post. Or what previous underscore what page underscore number. Remember we have actually talked about this. So if it has previous, we're going to get that of the what is it called? That of the so we're going to this is also if post has previous. Remember that the first step to actually do so you don't get most errors. So this is actually if post has other pages, if post has previous page. So we're going to say is also going to be that of the and if is really really important, so we move to next one actually to that of the and if also so in a situation where doesn't have the previous pages, so you can just to put a test of previous, so we can see our can see else. So yes, what are you going to do? You can just put a test, which is that you can see each 5 times, so we can see that the previous simple as that. So let's just type this inside. Okay, and just say and if we're done with this, if it has previous page, let's actually see whether that took effect. Let's actually go back. I'm not going to get this error anymore, but actually fix this. So Let's search for content. Come on, let's actually open to actually do some of these guys. Into Ezee keys 2027, and then I'll have that on the text. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then login. So we're currently logged in. You can see that the content we have is not that pretty much. So pagination is not going to work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this video to populate our content by this of the jumps. I'm going to complete it then. I'm going to complete it manual. I'm just going to make the content to be at least 6 pages, 6 content. Then you can actually see the pagination. Just random. That doesn't really make sense. So I'm still going to get rid of it. So let's actually put breaks on this of some of all these guys so we can actually see what we are trying. So you can see this actually H so we can actually just add a break line here. So let this actually take effect. You can see they're actually going to be a break line. Yeah, so and just push it. You can see each of the content when each of the content are being printed, and let it be a break line. So when we look at this, our pagination is not actually showing. So let's actually do for that of whether it has a next space. So I'm going to copy what we did that correct. So I'm going to do for that of next as next. So it's going to have next page number, and then it's going to put next here. And for that, let's actually run that. Let's go down. Pagination is not saved. Page you load, you see not showing. So I think the problem we have here is that let's actually look at the variable, the key, which is actually post. So we need to make it a post, not post. It will be post, post, post. So this will be X here. Be X. Okay. Yes. I think that's it. Is say next page number, previous page number. Let's actually go back and so that this took effect. Let's just go down a little bit. You can see this previous test is actually showing, which is the link is not showing, even though if post has next, should be certain need to actually show.